Hi, my name is Lyle Murphy, the founder of the Alternative to Med Center, and I'm here with one of our successful graduates, Jay. Welcome, Jay.
Hi.
All ready to go home now, huh?
Yeah.
When we got your intake information, it's really hard to rattle me, because after 15 years of this and seeing in the area of about 25,000 different situations, when I saw your med list, I was like, at first I was like, who prescribes this? I mean, your latest three meds were Pristique, Abilify, and Zyprexa, olanzapine. And it's like mixing a stimulant that gives you more dopamine while you're also coming off of an antipsychotic that's supposed to hold back dopamine. I mean, it's just a really retarded combination in the first place. And I see those retarded combinations. But like some other doctors sometimes are like, oh my God, this is the worst patient I've ever seen. And I'm like, oh, I had 3 of those this week. I mean, your medication list, when I got the totality of the things that you had been on in your young years, how old are you?
24.
24. You were on about 24 different medications. So there was those 3, and then there was a Provigil, which is really just a straight stimulant, And it's not the kind of thing you give somebody in an antipsychotic at the same time. It's like giving somebody, I don't know, Coke and alcohol at the same time. It's just like, what are you really trying to do? Go up or go down? It just makes no sense. And then you had Lanacin tabs, which I take it that is some sort of Korean drug, Blanacerin, Effexor XR, methylphenidate, Alprazolam, which is a benzo, I never even heard of this one before. It's some kind of benzo, Flunitrazepam, mirtazapine, olanzapine, clonazepam, imipramine, escitalopram, which is also Effexor, Sudafed, sulfide, diazepam, amisulpride, fluoxetine, amoxicillin, Prozac, mirtazapine, propranolol, and flurazepam. And some of those are not the conventional American name for things, but it's still some pretty powerful either sedatives, hypnotics, antipsychotics, or just like, bathing you in anxiolytics. So what's going on? Why'd you need all these meds?
So I had my breakdown in college. It hit me like some tsunami wipes out a city. I know it was a gradual process, but one day it was like I couldn't handle it anymore.
But how gradual? Did it start in college, or did it start when you were like really young, or?
Well, the point where the symptoms became really somatic and really unbearable physically, that's when I started going like, I need help. I remember I was scared to go to the emergency room because of all this false information that you are given as an international student, that hospital bills in the United States is crazy expensive, and you never want to go to the ER.
Yeah, you want to get a big bill for your education on top of it.
On top of it. Yeah. So I remember just going to the local CVS near my university, talking to the pharmacist, asking him what I have to do, and then they were just saying, "Okay, we really don't have the resources to help you here. At this hour, the only thing that's available for you is the emergency room, or if your university has an on-call psychiatrist, that's your best bet." So I went back to my room in the dark, and I knew I had a test the next day. It was a test for my statistics class. I turned off all the lights, had my laptop this close to my face, and I was still studying while I was going through all of that, because that's what I was taught to do. You have to study, you have to make good grades. That's how you become successful. That's how you pay back to what your parents are doing for you. Make good grades, make them proud. Even while I was going through the worst things in my life, I was like, I have to study. It came to a point where I just couldn't function at all. So I had to go back to Korea with my family. Before that, I did try the things that was available for me, the counseling center at the university. And then they referred me to a psychiatric clinic. And I went, and so it's just a very scary thought when you just don't have your family member with you in the sense you're all alone, thinking about admitting yourself to a psych hospital. So I went and got my consultation, and everything that I got when I went and saw a psychiatric specialist was they just go through this series of questions, and it's a yes or no, scale them down, and then at that point I wasn't prescribed any medication. I was just told that this is how much it will cost for you to have our service. And I was just scared. I didn't know what to do. So I had to go back home to Korea. And I visited multiple psychiatrists, top-notch psychiatrists that was supposed to do wonders for you. Same thing, 500 over something questionnaires I had to fill out. I could not even think. I couldn't even read those questions and think for myself, how much do I feel anxious? What do you think is what's causing this? That part of it was just cruel itself going through.
And when you came in, you were basically twitching at night from like you were practically poisoned. You know, like you had akathisia from, for those who don't know, it's like when you have a bad reaction to drugs and you can't sit still. It's really horrific. You can't really be in your body comfortably. And I mean, looking at you now, I don't know if it would have been nice to do it before on you, but that would have been unkind because you were so bad that it's like, I was like, oh man, I don't know if we can, you're looking for me to say, hey, I got this. And I'm like, oh, this is a lot,
Yeah.
I mean, and you're just in abject panic the whole time. And like you would have thought somebody along the way would have thought, hey, maybe these drugs are not working so good. It just seemed like, oh, we'll try this new drug, or like maybe they'll invent one that'll work. I mean, it's like, did anyone ever stop and go, these combinations of these drugs are just, the pharmacodynamics of these are just, it's like trying to park your car by slamming on the accelerator and the brake at the same time. Nobody looked at that. Nobody ever said to you, hey, maybe the drugs are the problem.
No. I at least I believed that medication was my solution because I knew I needed help and I needed some kind of help. And the only thing I knew that was available for me was psychiatric medication. So I held on to it with my dear life. And, you could consume alcohol, you could do other things to mask that pain, but essentially, I believe that what would eventually cure me was this psychiatric medications, and the doctor started prescribing me these medications. My diagnosis changed over the course of my treatment with him.
What kind of diagnosis did you have?
It was a pre-psychotic phase of schizophrenia. That's what he said. He said, you were just this close to reaching that point of no return, where if you had not come sick, sought help, you would like have no hope for recovery. And then after that, it was akathisia, mania.
Well, that's kind of the point we found you, and I can concur with. You were on the razor's edge, you know.
Yeah.
But now, what happened to this? What happened to your main prescriber? Like the person. I mean, what do they think of all this? Now that you're not on drugs,
so
you're functioning, and you're happy.
So, my psychiatrist that prescribed me all those medications, he committed suicide in March.
So this person that was guiding you,
I knew he was going through a lot, and he also tended to prescribe the medications that he was prescribing to himself, that he was taking himself. Those medications that I've been on, he was also taking.
He divulged that to you.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty uncommon, you know, but yeah. Wow, that's really something.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I mean, of course, I'm in opposition to psychiatry and the perspective of drugging, especially kids, you know, to try to fix them when there's other reasons. But, you know, I mean, I think psychiatrists get hitched into this thing too. It's like when all you have is a prescription pad, and that's not really helping people, and you know it. And you have to go home at night and think, wow, you know, I'm not really getting anywhere with people. They're becoming lifetime consumers of these medications. It must be depressing, you know? But like, when we're like, I've got my little differential diagnosis checklist that lives in my head, and I'm listening to it, and I'm like, okay, is it because the kid's smoking pot and he's not able to, you know, break down the cannabinoids? Is it because he's got a sensitive genetics and he went to school and he doesn't have his nutritional needs met? Check, you know, and what it looked like was really just a cultural thing.
Yeah.
Like, you're coming from a culture that's really, you gotta perform, man. You get an A-, and it's like you're jumping out a window or something because of the shame that you've brought to your situation. And it's like that amount of pressure. And then you had some, you know, if when we went through what happened with your sponsor dad, I mean, this guy was just, he was denigrating to you, you know, like, why are you so stupid? And it's just like, how could an impressionable kid not come out screwed up from that?
Yeah.
You know, you've been displaced from your culture. You're in a new culture. You're all alone, and you don't really have any authority figures to give you good guidance. You know, you don't have the ego strength to really, you know, to say, hey, you know, I'm okay, and you know, an A- is fine, or whatever the situation is. And then you got a foster dad telling you something's wrong with you, and then you go into a psychiatrist, which only confirms it with professional name calling, like, oh, you're a diagnosis, you know? It was just that. Yeah. I mean, really, was nothing wrong with you in the first place.
No.
You're a bite kid, and you're a pre-med, right?
Yeah.
And you said something very flattering to our naturopath when you were like, I think I want to be a naturopath instead of an MD. It's a good life, you know, especially if I had I guess it was disturbing, you know, call with a doctor friend of mine who, you know, knows the ways of alternative medicine. I mean, he got exposed to it and saw the miracles and stuff. But they're working over at conventional psych, and you know, he says to me, he says, well, they pay me more than I'm worth, and that's why I stay here. But the patient population, people that can't pay for treatment, you know, he's like, you know, there's some kids here that were just, you know, shoplifting or something, and then they get put on all these meds and it's lights out. You know, it's like, I wish I could have sent them there. And I'm thinking to myself, well, these guys have no money. Who's paying for this? It's a state. We've got the state hitched into overpaying, really, doctors to push drugs and all that money is funneling back to the pharmaceutical company. I mean, it's not really some arcane conspiracy theory what's going on. It's very extraordinarily evident on the surface. You don't have to go looking in some file boxes that are hidden behind locked doors. This is what's happening on a day-to-day basis. And you got caught up in this and didn't have any, legs to stand on because you're, in a completely different element.
Yeah.
So what do you think? Did you have a good time with this?
It was, I can now say I have my life back because of the time that I spent at the ATMC. And I really thought I didn't have a way out. It either was gonna get worse from there or stay the same. Either way, I didn't see any hope at all, really. And when you're at that place, it doesn't matter. People will say, then why don't you just go back home to Korea? Just be with your family. I tried that for 3.5 years. I went back home. And it stayed with me wherever I went, no matter who I surrounded myself with, until I was at a place where I could feel safe and loved, and where I knew I was headed in the right direction. It was really hard, but you would really do anything for you to get your life back. There's a reason why you didn't give up, and there's a part of me inside that just did not want to give up. Just holding on to the hope that I consciously thought I don't have it, but there's something inside of me. And that voice just became louder and louder, and I was able to identify with it as I went with the program.
Yeah, you still got the voices of this sponsor dad denigrating you,
Yeah.
And it's going to be something you work with, just like the rest of us. But now you have a new friend in your life. You mind if we introduce your new friend?
Let's do it.
Okay. Hey, new friend, come here.
Hello. Yeah, you've been hiding down there. Here you go.
So Jay got his life back, and he decided to pay it forward, and took what's your dog's name? Pongo, a abandoned dog from
the reservation,
Indian reservation, under his wing. And Pongo's pretty laid back, Well, you've become part of our family for real. I mean, you've inspired people through your vulnerability. Just the beautiness of who you are is so infectious. And if I have a personal stake in this, and I do, I'm never going to let you forget that you are truly a beautiful person and a highly capable person. Highly capable of helping others and being I honestly think you're probably a better person, fundamentally than even I am. You have a place in you that is almost saintly pure, and I acknowledge that.
Thanks, Laura.
Yeah. All right. Anything else you wanted to share with anyone that's on the fence about, can they do this?
You can get better. There is hope. You can get better. You might not think you can, but you can. There's a way.
Okay. All right. Ready for the next 1,000 to prove that fact. All right. Thank you and have a good day or night. Bye now.